Hey everybody, good morning. Morning David, morning Mr. Sharp, Pat, Lucero, Craig, Val, Donald, morning everybody. It has now been 20 years since the boss has been the boss. Whew, we had a good meal out yesterday. Went to a place called the Brass Pearl. Very nice, very nice. Anyway, glad to see everybody today. And she may or may not pop on. She is hanging out with my niece and nephew today. Live down the street, so that their mama bear can go to work as a teacher at Austin East. Anyway, all right. Stuff is popping. We have another big week of earnings this week. And when I talk about big week of earnings, let me pop over and find my pinned message here. Grab it and pop it up. Did not pop it up for some reason before. There we go. So we have SOFI on Semi already this morning. CNA, Community Bank, fair. We got some lesser known companies after the close today. Tomorrow, though, Uber, Pfizer, Cat, before the market, JetBlue even, Alturia. Then after the close, AMD, Starbucks, Pinterest, MicroStrategy, big crypto holder, not really a miner, but a holder, Lumen. Then before the market opens on Wednesday, this is kind of the main driver this week is earnings. We don't really have the economic news that we had last week. So the market just kind of shrugged off the economic news last week. Nothing really surprising, nothing really market moving. So it's down to earnings this week to see what might happen. Now, big names coming up on Thursday: Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, Block, formerly known as Square, Airbnb. I am long that position in Airbnb, so we'll see where we get to with that as we wrap up the week this week. Lots of stuff coming. And we have Nikola out there too, Enbridge, and this could be a mover. Could be a mover of a week. We'll see what happens. So far, earnings have just kind of not been overly spectacular either. A lot of the good CEOs sandbagged, easy beat, and a lot of them raising guidance and is creating stock price appreciation. Now there are some out there that were too honest, and as they report earnings, their honesty shows, and they get punished for it. And then there's the few out there that are just doing a crap job, period. And I don't know. Meme stocks are launching, and some of them other stocks are just hanging out at the lows. So it's a story of haves and have-nots in the market, is the way I've been putting it. If you've got it, if your CEO's got it together, got their crap together, then your stock price is probably rocking. If they don't, then probably dropping. Hey, Kimberly made it. There she is. Glad to see you, my dear. Michael, good morning. Dan, glad to have everybody. If you want to chat with me while I'm live, all you got to do is be a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button. The chat becomes active. It's not difficult. If you're on a TV or something, it probably doesn't show up. But as long as you're on a mobile device or a browser, is my preferred way to watch, then the chat pops up. You may have to rotate your mobile device to get it to show you while you got the video. And you might as well hit the alert thing with the doodads so you get alerted when I go live again tomorrow. Remember, 5 o'clock tomorrow, I will do 30 minutes of your requests. And I have something at 1 o'clock today. It won't be on YouTube. It'll be on Zoom. If you're interested, it's called the income glitch. I've had this track record. It's a 100% win rate. We always say there is no such thing as a 100% win rate, but so far, 52 real market live alerts that I've thrown out there with real traders following along, and 100% win rate. It's average hold time like 10 days or so, and it rocks. I have to say, it rocks. I even traded in my new small retirement account that it was only a $2,000 retirement account. So that's what we got going on, and let's go ahead and kick it over to disclaimer. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. So that 100% win rate, it may get blown out of the water. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, and fun. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor. Now, if you want the link to, I don't even see the link anymore, to that thing at 1 o'clock. I don't know. If you want the link, I'll throw it in Discord. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. But let's talk about what's actually moving today, though, before we wrap this up. We've got cryptos. Look at this, 1.8 million cryptos now listed on CoinMarketCap. How in the devil do you keep up with that many cryptos? You don't. You gotta listen to somebody like me that sorts through this stuff. And crypto is not something I'm watching today because it's gotten boring. It really has. After a rocking first kind of half of the year, it just got boring, and maybe due for a deeper correction, as we talk about every morning during Morning Monster. And I don't know where these alerts keep popping up. They popped up 3 times on my other computer this morning, and it didn't stick to here. So, Bitcoin, as we zoom it up, look, we're just chopping, and it's the bottom of this consolidation range. We've poked out the bottom of that consolidation. We're just hanging out. Can't break back in. We've tried 3 days now. If it can break back in, we'll probably rally back to the top of the range. If not, try to break out. But it's uninteresting. Like, it's been uninteresting since back here mid-June. It lost its luster. When the Bitcoin ETFs got rejected the first round, everybody's just like, eh. And then quietly, 2 Fridays back, almost all the applications got accepted for review, but that didn't make headlines. So this thing's just kind of cooking in the background. It'll be a while. It'll probably take 6 to 9 months probably to review those applications. So those ETFs are going to be sitting out there, and when they go live, they're going to suck a lot of liquidity out of the Bitcoin market, and prices are probably going to rocket, and the rest of crypto is probably going to go with it. So these are things to keep on the radar out there in the future. Now, Ethereum does have a bearish pattern going. We made a significantly lower high, held what I call a measured bounce setup for going lower. That target right now probably somewhere in the $1,500 to $1,600 range. If it doesn't get its crap together and make a higher high than we had right here. So be careful there. Now, S&P 500, am I avoiding that? No, I'm not avoiding it. I just wanted to talk about crypto for a second before we kicked it off. Look at this. Look at what happened on Friday. Look at where we closed. Right up at the orange box. We've got just a little bit higher we can touch before we touch that fib line. And we could push up to the top of the range there. The top of the range comes from this high zone back here with a little bit of extra fluff. So back there, 46.36-ish was the close high back there in March of 22. So really, we've just gone sideways for a year and a half, like pretty much just choppy sideways, nothing for a year and a half. Now, can we just break out and go higher? Well, we could. Is it very likely? No, it's not very likely right now. A move up over 4,800 puts us in all-time high territory. We are at 52-week highs, because we're higher than we've been for a year and a half. And I don't know. We need a pullback. We have not seen a pullback since this one right here. Not a real pullback. We've had little baby pullbacks, but not a real pullback since we had this flush out in the market right here, back here in February and March. We need another one of those to clear out this. Everybody's kind of long. Everybody's, this thing. I heard somebody say, the market's never going to correct again. You don't know what you're talking about. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? That's dangerous thought. Remember, this is one of the longest. It's in the top 10% of longest bullish runs we've ever had in the S&P 500 since World War II. Right there. Is that the kind of market environment you think we're in right now? Top 10%? I mean, it hasn't felt like that to me, but the numbers don't lie, and this is one of the top 10% moves. How long can it go? It can keep going. Popping over and talking about the futures. Yes, overnight, rallying back up, getting close to the top. Adjust the scale here. We are pushing that limit there. If we push up through this box, same box I defined on Friday, we push up through the top of that box, probably going on up 46.56, possibly 46.84 on the futures. This is S&P 500's futures. They run, we can see the difference running about 20 points higher. This isn't open yet, but it will be in about 3 minutes. And right now, ES kind of running about 20 points higher. So if we're talking about 46.56, we're talking about 46.36-ish on SPX. All right. If you're unfamiliar with what ES is, that's just the S&P 500's E-mini futures. I keep an eye on it because they opened up at 6 o'clock last night, and it's been providing me overnight data on this move ever since. Right now, this is not necessarily bullish. We are kind of holding the highs. If we reject here, we get below these lows from last week, we're probably going on down. Highly cautious to watch right now. This is like a sideways consolidation, can break down. Now, I am on a watch out for a break above that orange box. We get above the orange box, probably going on the extensions. And that can be the last, one more high. We keep making those incremental little squiggles, not going very high. It's kind of running out of steam. Until we get a bigger correction, we're not going to be able to get the bigger moves. The bigger moves are what I tend to make the money off of. I don't know about you. NQ. This one, we have to zoom out a little bit more. We can see the high right back here on July 19th. And significantly lower right now. Looking very similar to ES. So ES and NQ kind of coming back into formation, making a kind of the same pattern here in the last few days. They weren't really doing the same thing. Now they kind of are. When everything kind of comes into alignment, that's usually when the market sets up for the biggest moves. So be very, very careful. Another friend of mine who I have a group chat with made a comment over the weekend that the last time she saw this kind of setup in the markets, we had an outsized correction occur. So be very, very careful. All right, Russell also coming into alignment here with the pattern down off the highs. The high here was on the 27th though, not on the 19th, but holding that lower high. Tested it a few times. We're still at that trend line on the daily. Russell having a lot of trouble getting through that trend line on that daily chart. So this may be an indication that we see this retrace deeper, potentially back to the roadmap line. So all three major indexes that I tend to track flying pretty parallel this morning. CL breaking on higher, pushing on up. We waited for a couple days, and now we're going to go test that target, 82.85, potentially up to 84.64. When we get to that point, what happens next? Not exactly sure yet. I do expect a retrace. That retrace may come back to the roadmap line back here around 76, 77. We'll see. There's the market. Market open. Gold rocking. Nice gap up, pushing higher. Probably on the path. We do have this little consolidation resistance to push on through. But the likelihood that we're on the path to 2200 is pretty high at this point. So, and look at this. Gold up, dollar up. What? That correlation, that doesn't make any sense. Well, they're correlated when they're correlated. Correlation's not causation. Don't get trapped into thinking that just because dollar's up or down, that gold has to go up or down. Sometimes they fly together. Sometimes they go the opposite directions. That's just the way this thing works. gold and metals don't go up because the dollar goes down or up or anything. So just keep it in mind. All right. The traditional mainstream media things. I mean, one week they'll say, oh, the dollar caused the gold to go up and the dollar caused the gold to go down. Oh, and then the reverse happens. Like, oh, the dollar popping caused gold to go up. Wait, what? Usually you say the dollar dropping. You can see CNBC do that all the time. They, you know, sometimes it'll be months, sometimes it'll be years in between the exact same headline, opposite. You know, they say the same thing, just opposite, and support the same move. It's ridiculous. These things are based on chart patterns. They're not based on news. All right. ON announcing earnings and nice pop. Beat on the top, beat on the bottom, and the target, the bigger term target, right up here, around 124. That's a beautiful move. Probably going to get up there. All right. SOFI breaking higher. Again, beating on the top. Although losing money and beating on the bottom. Well, the market likes it so far today. We've got the fib lines and resistance. We may be able to rally right back up where we consolidated up here. I think there'll be some resistance right up here around 14, looks like. When we get up in that zone, about $3 more to the upside. Adobe getting a nice pop. Is that our earnings? No earnings today. Earnings are out later in September. But breaking above the trend line, or the resistance line, excuse me, not trend line, resistance line. See, this was resistance here and here. Kind of clears the path for Adobe to rally from this 540, 550 area up to about 670 where we made prior highs. Kind of clears it can just play in there. You can see how it played before. Lots of big volatile moves. It can just play in this zone, potentially poke out to a new high. We'll see. AURC looks like that one's going on a wicked move after sitting. This must be a SPAC. And as usual, be careful on SPACs. They can come right back down. I don't care what kind of awesome stuff they may be into. I've seen a lot of these SPACs pop and then come right back down once the excitement wears off. Some sort of issue with the deal, whatever, it can come right back down. Of course, if hey, they're the new Amazon, Apple, whatever on their acquisition, they could rock it off and be worth hundreds of dollars. We'll see what happens here. Wayfair has never had what I need. Right up to the resistance box right here until we can get above 86. That's going to be resistance and may come back down one more time. See, the last time we happened to touch this box or came close, we got a deep retrace. Kind of expect that again, or just kind of park up here. Could just park. Don't expect a lot of over enthusiasm in this market right now. POSCO keeps making these highs. I expect this one to come back. SYM, not trading for it to come back, just the chart pattern I expect to come back. That is a lower high, and it would look best if it came back here in this zone. There, that is a lower. It could have finished this up, but it looks better. And could potentially be done. It would look better if it did that little extension. CVX, yeah, it could be on a breakout. A lot of oil charts look better if they make a lower low, but CVX could be on a breakout. I would not be chasing this one long until it broke above this consolidation right over here. So that 170 area, that would be the aggressive, more conservatively above the orange box at 182. Looking for target up here, 198. Upstart keeps on rocking. Has the box and may find resistance at that top of the box. That's a gap fill, similar to the way Meta and Netflix were, except Upstart, not exactly like the big company that Netflix and everybody is. So these things do tend to fill their gaps when they make these giant gaps down and then start rocking back up. So somewhere around 78 is where I expect Upstart to find some resistance. And if you're just unfamiliar with what I'm talking about on Meta, check this out. That big gap down, and it rocked it right back up there and just kind of parked, which is what I expect. I don't expect much after filling that gap. We'll have to wait for it to do some pullbacks and something else to point the direction. And then Netflix came up just shy, retraced to the bottom of the box. If it can build up some energy here, it'll go for the top of the box up there at 500. So this may be an opportunity, but I would wait for that market correction, because the market correction can take this on down to the roadmap line. So, all right, how do I access Discord? That would be in the members area, members.jeffreytrader.com. Let me stop and throw that in there real quick. There you go. There's the members site right there. That has instructions for Discord. If you bought something, right there. If you're still having trouble, call my support team, 888-203-6792. Right there. Right there, and it didn't enter. There we go. Call that support number if you are having trouble with the members area. All right. LYV. Look at that. Right back to the roadmap line. Beautiful. Popping back up a little bit today. I don't know. The next move, let's see. If we can start making green candles instead of red candles, the next move would be 107 on the upside. If we break below the roadmap line, probably coming back down to this spot right down in here, around 64. Hasbro. Nice consolidation right above the roadmap line. We do have the prior high to deal with right over here. These highs. If we can get above that, we may go higher. Otherwise, probably not. Baidu, still working on this head and shoulders pattern. Apple did not make my morning movers list. I may throw it in at the end. This is not a request show. Request shows are on Tuesday at 5 p.m. So, Unity is just kind of chopping at the resistance. Not really able to break above yet. ANET, right back to the roadmap line. Beautiful. If it failed to break out here, so it may extend a bit lower. Does have the gap filled down just a little lower at 146. If it can hold that, turn back above, really it needs to be above here to get the extension, and it's not a huge high probability pattern. If trading for a few bucks is what you like to do, if it can get back over this 176.50 area, 186, possibly 197 on the next extension higher, and this thing can just get sparky sometimes. So get sparky and go up. All right, SILC, Silicom. Ouch, lower low. This is why I caution trading stuff like this. These sideways, yucky patterns can just pop lower, down 24%. Ouch. CRM, Salesforce, probably going to head back to the roadmap line. It could hold this box. It's kind of sitting right there at the bottom. If it gets out of it at all, it's probably heading back down here to the roadmap line. That would be my expectations. J&J, probably heading back to the roadmap line after meeting some resistance up there. Hit the minimum target for a bearish kind of setup. If it can hold the roadmap line, turn back up, we can go on the extensions. But right now, that's looking like down here around 163. XPEV, hey, morning, John. Morning. XPEV probably going to retrace back. That would be my expectation. Needs a retrace before we can get some more extension. That was a power move, and power moved right out of energy, more than likely. Boyle, I'm going to have to adjust some scale on this thing. See where we're at here. Oh my goodness. Looks like we had the reverse split. Clear the drawings. Clear everything. Yeah, I can't even get... That one's basically dead. 1 for 20 reverse split. Kind of messed that one up as far as what I can chart. Let's see if we can get anything. Yeah, just nothing. That reverse split messed that one up as far as being able to chart it. Bud, chopping in here. If we can break out through these highs right here, and we made a high, 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 3 highs in a row now. If we can break out through those highs, this one has huge upside potential. I don't care what the narrative, everybody saying that they're going out of business because of their marketing decisions. The chart says they're likely to go much higher. This is a series of higher lows, finding some resistance. If we can break out of that thing, if we can break out of this little triangle thing, it sets this thing up to go much higher, potentially 84 up here. Don't trade news, trade chart patterns. This chart pattern is very nice. I am long bud, looking for this thing to break out and really start moving. I have an alert sitting there at 60, 61, looks like. So, trade the chart patterns, don't trade news. QS, nice pop right there. And even though it made the list for being down, it's right up to resistance. If it can get above that, this is where we topped out before. It looks like we can get some run going on QS. All right. Hey, Arthur. Glad to see you this morning. I'll touch Apple real quick. Nothing. Not moving. Sitting at the high. Nothing to talk about. Probably going to retrace. All right. Bias for the day. Let's zoom back up and hit the bias based on the futures. Like I said, if we can break out over 46.20, let's go with 46.22. We get about 46.22, probably going to make a higher high than we had back here on the 27th. That high would probably be 46.56 on the futures. Subtract off about, about 20. Looks like we're running $27, $28 right now, $29. So be careful if you're looking for the SPX numbers. Now, if we break down below these two lows, back below that 30-minute roadmap line, so we're talking about back below about 45.95, 45.90 area right there. If we get back below that, probably going down. If we hang out in between, we're just going sideways, baby. So my bias for the day is kind of neutral, sideways, until we break up or down. We do have a fairly nice range to trade in, 45.95 up to 46.22. That's a big day historically in the S&P 500. That's 30 points. So we can just kind of churn in this 30-point range. That can be a big day mover for S&P, but it doesn't set the direction for anything. Right now it's unclear. This is a bearish setup, but it doesn't have to follow through. We don't have the continuation. We don't have the confirmation that we're going to follow through yet. So, all right. Already covered Netflix, and this is not a request show, so if you have requests, bring them tomorrow at 5 p.m. I will go through every request you have for at least 30 minutes and probably an hour. Otherwise, have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. Remember, the account you save may be your own, and it's not being wrong that costs you money. It's staying wrong. Have a great day, everybody. I will be in Discord, and at 1 p.m., we're going to do this launch and talk about this alert service that I've had a 100% win rate on. So, bye for now.